Welcome, dear listeners. Today's story contains imagery that some may find nauseating. Listener discretion is advised. Fumes by Louvie G Tucker. Hideo wasn't sure how it happened. Maybe he got distracted at the wrong second. Maybe it was something he didn't see. Maybe it was just bad luck. Whatever it was, thankfully the airbag had deployed. Dazed, he lifted his head, knuckles gripping the steering wheel. His new car, a graduation present from his parents, had veered off the icy highway and smashed into a large, sturdy pine tree. Hideo shook the daze away and assessed the situation. Obviously, he would not be driving away in this vehicle. The front had crumpled on impact. Shattered glass from the windshield was everywhere. The winter snow took advantage of the missing windshield, invading the car and heralding the frigid cold. He cursed under his breath. A skiing trip was supposed to have been a great way to celebrate his graduation as a super senior. He had worked hard during university, including taking time to complete an unpaid internship. A nice drive to a warm and cozy ski lodge had seemed like the perfect adventure. Plus, he had not gone skiing in years. The getaway should have been a great time to reconnect with one of his old passions. He shifted, pulled his wallet out of his pocket, and retrieved his AAA card. It would be a long time before anyone could come and help, but he might as well get the ball rolling. The phone holder attached to the dashboard still held his device, which was displaying a picture of a Tokyo Jihen album on the screen. He reached for it. The song Oscar was still playing, but the car radio didn't make a sound. He tapped the phone to stop the song and checked the signal. A bar. No. 2? Back to 1. As he tried his luck and dialed the AAA number, an odd smell seeped into the car, perhaps gasoline or some other fluid. Hideo held the phone to his ear and waited.
Hello, welcome to the AAA hotline.
A human-like voice responded. Are you serious? This is automated? Hideo spat.
If you have questions about your account, press 1. If you've been in an accident, press...
Hideo smashed the number 2 on his phone. The call went silent. Then it rang once.
Thank you for calling AAA. My name is Victoria. How may I help you today?
I have been in an accident. Are you currently in a safe place? Victoria asked. I don't know. Hideo looked around again. There was no immediate danger. I think I'm safe. I'm still in my car.
Are you injured?
Hideo patted himself over. Just a couple of scrapes.
Do you know where you're located?
I was heading to the Resting Paw Ski Lodge. I don't know exactly where I am, but I was on Highway 520. I passed exit 134 going north, if that helps. Sounds of a keyboard clacking came through the connection.
Okay. Can I have your name and phone number where we can reach you?
Victoria asked. Hideo gave his information. More waiting.
Okay. It's going to be a while before we can get someone out there. I've already contacted emergency response. Do you have enough clothes and food to stay warm?
Yeah, I think I'm okay, Hideo responded. He touched the down winter coat his friends had convinced him to buy years ago.
Okay. We're sending someone over now. Again, they may take a while to reach you, so try to stay at or near the site of the accident.
All right. Hideo's nose twitched. Whatever was causing the odd smell had not stopped. In fact, it was slightly stronger. Inhaling fumes could not be good.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Victoria dutifully asked. I think I'm okay, thank you.
Thank you for calling AAA. We will try to get you help as soon as possible, so remember to stay warm and safe.
Hideo thanked her again before hanging up. He let out a heavy sigh. His car might be total, but at least he was alive and had had enough cell coverage to make the call. Now to wait. More snow fluttered inside through the open front where the windshield used to be. It was slowly redecorating the front of the car. His thick boots and clothes staved off the frigid air. His hands, however, were going numb. He fumbled with the seat belt. Twisting around, he reached into a bag in the back seat and pulled out a pair of nice winter gloves. Even though it was not instant relief, they would be enough to prevent frostbite in his fingers. The odorous smell, though, was becoming a problem. If the car was leaking gas, that could be dangerous. It would be worse if a stray spark hit the pool of gasoline. Staying in the car would be the best chance to wait for rescue, but there would be no surviving if the car exploded. Even if it did not explode, inhaling too much of the fumes would also be a death sentence. After a couple of minutes, his mind began to feel woozy. His eyes drooped and his head bobbed no matter how hard he fought to stay awake. Remaining in the car was dangerous. He needed to get away from the fumes. Staying near the car should still be safe enough. Hideo forced the door open and stumbled out. The first step went smoothly, followed by the second. Something caught his foot on the third. Sucking in air, he shot his arms out in front of himself. It was too late. The world reorientated. A cold rush hit his face as if he had jumped into a cold pool on a hot summer day. He slowly picked himself up, wiped his face, and swiped at his clothing to dust off the snow. Inhaling deeply, crisp air filled his lungs, followed by a foul odor. His nose dove into his inner elbow. The smell was outside the car as well.
Must have been really bad.
His muffled voice judged. His eyes followed the tire tracks from the wrecked car up the hill to the road. There was no memory of what made him careen off the highway, but higher up, near the road, would be a good place to wait for rescue. The noxious smell would be weaker, and if another person drove by, maybe they could help. Zipping up, Hideo set off, 1 foot forward at a time. The snow-covered hill made the trek arduous. The smell had grown weak, and his head was now clear. A few times, he had to crouch and scramble, dropping to his knees to catch his balance when he slipped. Finally, he reached the road. No one was around. No signs of tire tracks except for his own. The only thing to greet him was the hushed fall of the snow. And the smell? Hideo popped his eyes open. Without noticing, brain fog had taken over again. He shook his head and ran his hands down his face. Is something wrong with me? He sniffed the air. That same smell from the car had reached him again. He forced air out of his nose a couple of times. Another sniff. The smell was stronger, not weaker. Why? Looking both ways, Hideo jogged across the 4 lanes of the highway. With each step pounding on the snowy asphalt, the brain fog dissipated. Crisp air replaced the smell, pleasantly burning his lungs. He slowed his pace to a stop on the other side. This had to be far enough away. He faced the direction of his totaled car, half expecting an explosion. A snort passed his lips. This wasn't a movie. Hideo sat on a nice soft patch of snow. It almost immediately melted into his pants, chilling his skin. His eyes closed, savoring the moment of rest. Thoughts slowed down. Breathing. Hideo coughed violently, shaking himself out of his stupor. His stomach churned, but he fought back the bile. There was a new wretched stench as if a rotten carcass had sat out in a hot summer sun for days. He picked himself off the ground and walked. It didn't matter which direction. Each time he stayed still too long, the awful smell assaulted him. Moving had to be the key. The smell became weak again, but never vanished. Hideo picked up the pace. It wasn't wise to go too far from his car. He opted to walk a loop along the empty highway. His mind tried to process what was happening. It didn't make sense. Noxious fumes near a wrecked car was understandable. Since leaving the car, however, that smell had steadily become more pungent and vile. Hideo's pace grew sluggish. Each step he dragged his foot forward through the carpet of snow. Thoughts of his parents flooded his mind. He could see their faces during his graduation, eyes filled with pride and joy. Memories melded together. His friends teasing him as he adjusted to new customs during his first year at university played back in his head. It was an embarrassing moment then, but they were kind and helpful. Truly wonderful people. Without them, he wouldn't have survived his first winter. Hideo struggled to keep focus. The smell was back at full strength. He dropped to one knee, trying not to breathe as much as possible, only to regrettably gulp in the horrid scent. The taste, rotten and putrid. The acrid sensation made him vomit. With as much willpower as he could muster, he lifted his hand up and brought it across his face sharply. The sting woke his dulling senses. He got off his knee while wiping any remaining bile from his mouth onto his sleeve.
This isn't right!
Hideo shouted to no one.
What the hell is going on?
He rubbed his tender throat. With newfound energy, he ran. It hurt to breathe in the frigid air, but his legs kept moving. The smell was keeping pace, refusing to let him go.
Come on. Think. This isn't right.
He muttered between breaths. His feet slowed to a stop.
My clothes. It must be my clothes.
He brought his coat sleeve up to his nose, stopping at the trace of vomit. Switching to the other coat sleeve, he took a sniff. His nose burrowed into the fabric. Nothing. Just a normal blend of cotton, polyester, and nylon. A small relief. The smell was not on his coat. He wouldn't have to flirt with hypothermia to keep his sanity. Then again, that was only one part of the coat that had passed the sniff test. The odor could be somewhere else on him. The smell was getting stronger.
Still makes no sense,
he said, eyes drooping. He reached for his coat's zipper. The gloves made it hard to grab hold. As he unzipped, the winter air blew over his chest, sending shivers through his body. He shook his head again to clear his mind. It was unwise to remove his protective coat, but it would be temporary. Only temporary. He reached for the shoulder of his coat to remove a sleeve. It was hard to think. His brain was clouded again. Then his body stiffened. Long, gnarled, skin-sloughing fingers materialized in his periphery. There was no time to react. The hand grabbed his face. It squeezed tight, putting pressure on his cheeks and eyeballs. His head snapped back, feet leaving the ground. The snow tried to soften the fall, but something covered by it hit his head hard. Dazed, he rolled onto his stomach and attempted to stand back up. He didn't want to see what had assaulted him. Instinct demanded that he flee. This thing was more dangerous than the wrecked graduation gift. A firm grip locked onto one of his ankles. He shouted, kicking the best he could. Snow, twigs, and leaves rubbed against his chest. The road was moving away. 5 years. He had spent over 5 years making this new country his home. Any plans for his future were slipping out of his grasp. He flailed, desperately trying to find purchase to stop whatever it was dragging him from the only hope of civilization left. His mind was going blank. His eyes were half focused. He screamed and struggled. The road and the wrecked car was far away now. Pine trees surrounded him, hiding him from the outside world. The horrid stench stayed, draining any energy he had left. His body gave in, going slack. There were soft footsteps. Gnarled fingers snatched at his shoulder and flipped him onto his back. Losing consciousness, the last thing he could make out was a face. Skin peeling and bulbous, it opened his lipless mouth full of jagged teeth. Sharp pain stabbed Hidio's throat. There was squelching and slurping. His hand struggled to move. It no longer mattered. It was time to sleep. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story. Tune in next month for another tale. Until then, take care of yourself and each other.